This is a beautiful day. Right. Summer, what about that? Right before we should do some review. Yeah. Sorry. Weekly volume and only $5. Uh, Today we have two types of cookies and Hawaiian macadamia coffee, and I remembered to get half and half. Wow, good stuff today. Uh, Swanky. Every day, not every week, every month, we give away a door prize to one lucky person who comes to the meeting, right? So Sarah, in the next 5 or 10 minutes, will use her random number generator to pick a member who signed in. And we'll give away one here at the beginning, or maybe Margaret will do it. I don't know. Um, and then at the end, right before we leave, we'll give away another door prize. We have two this week, as we forgot to do it last month. We do have some resolutions today. Are you vote worried? You need to have attended at least one meeting in the past 12 months. You need to either live or own a business in Spenard. That's it. Pretty low bar. Uh, Please make sure to check in our Secretary General House Day, your Vice President Carter McDonough, and Acting Secretary today. Uh, all right, so real quick, we'll introduce. Okay, quick update. All right, so to stay informed with the Smart Community Council and all the things the Federated Community Council is doing, you can go to our website, just type into Google Smart Community Council, it'll take you right to it. We have a bylaws committee that is currently being headed up by Jason, who is our right there. Uh, he is our auditor, and he is sitting next to our treasurer, Shaw. And he's heading up the committee to rewrite our bylaws. Things have changed in the way that we keep our money with the Federation Community Council, and it no longer matches our bylaws. So he's just going to make all that. If you want to be on that committee, our first meeting is scheduled for that start executive Saturday. We can stay at the end for the prize, which again is a $20 gift card that you can use at Lid Designs. They have lots of cool Spenardi designs that they print, the artists print on shirts. And as a fundraiser for the Spenard Community Council, they have made an awesome like gangland patch that will sew onto your shirt that says it's always sunny in Spenard with our fall tree on it. Looks like that right there. It's very cool. Those are $5, and 50% of the proceeds go to the Spenard Community Council. So we don't want to be caught out without paying on your float. I'm not selling the shirts. Our project this year was to start a project to get the Spenard windmill rebuilt. The one in Children's Charlie's parking lot, take it down and rebuild. The powers that be said we don't want your help. They're doing it anyway. So they are taking it down this summer. The new one that they've rebuilt, they already have started designs for. It's going to be all LED. It's going to be all computer controlled. It's going to be spectacular. I absolutely cannot wait to see it. And we don't have to do anything. Uh, the Eric call, they have new flights to Boston, Spokane, and Boise that'll be going this summer. The Kincaid Park Master Plan is asking for a community stakeholder group, so we need one member to step forward and volunteer. You will represent the 30,000 voices of Spenard on the Kincaid Park Master Plan. If you'd like to be the voice, talk to me or any member of the executive board, and we will try and make that happen. So to begin the meeting, first thing we have to do is we have to approve the minutes from last meeting, and then we have to approve the consent agenda. Let's do that unanimously, hopefully. There doesn't look like our assembly member is here today, so we might audible and throw to the representatives.
Well, good night.
Jan's partners. What? They're they're the new people, right? Is that you? They're one of them. I don't know. They're also on the agenda for. But yeah, our first person that recently I had a conflict amongst we tried to do things since it never got confirmed, so we'll make that work. So we need someone to make a motion. Move to approve. Second. Second. And we have a second. That was Peggy Mason. Any opposed to approving the agenda for the day? No. It passes. All right. We'll start the meeting as the next page with community announcements. And for the community announcements, we do have someone from Mary Poltola's office here, someone from Mayor LaFrance's office here, and if you don't take the that's a report.
Here to listen, so whenever you want to time, let's share it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the show us.
Yes.
Right. Second page. So, community announcements. Anyone have community announcements?
Are you gonna call them?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Beth Williams. I am a digital communication specialist for Mayor LaFrance. I will be your guys' point of contact for the mayor's office going forward. So I just wanted to come tonight and introduce myself. And I have a couple of flyers and magnets over there. I know we don't have a ton of time, but we're continuing to address like public safety is our top priority. We've seen some drops in unsheltered that continue to work on these issues. As always, if you guys see like camp or fire safety concerns, please report them so we can address them. The other big topics kind of coming up, we have property tax bills coming out this week. So we'll have some information coming out on that as well. I have a link over there to sign up. I know we're breaking for summer. We do an external newsletter about a couple times a month. So if you guys are interested in staying informed about what the mayor's office is planning to do over the summer and going forward, our newsletter is a great resource to sign up for and kind of see what's happening. We're also posting a bunch on our social media too, so that's another really good place to stay informed. But I'll leave some of my business cards over there as well, and please reach out to me if you guys have any concerns about anything. My email is the best way to contact me. So, thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Do we have another community announcement?
I have two quick ones. One, again, I'm Emily. I've been here previously, but I'm the one who bought the writer's block space, and I'm turning it into another bookstore event cafe. Our shelving was kind of delayed, but we are now still on track for a potential grand opening June 25th, which is exciting and scary all at the same time. And so as we sort of get our footing, we're thinking our hours for retail are going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 11 to 4, and then kind of events in the evening as we schedule them. Food permit is still forthcoming, so we'll just open for retail before then, but still very excited to bring back that creative space. So that's for the business side, and then also as a representative of Acreage Community Theater, we are seeking businesses who want to purchase playbill ads. So if you're interested, so those are my announcements.
We'll just go more order.
So I'm Mara. Last month, we voted to do a new banner for the community council. So I'm making that. And I'm in the process of making it, and I've been documenting it. And if you would like to follow along, I'm trying to, in the long term, start kind of a art initiative, like a nonprofit, but I'm not quite there yet. So this is just kind of just for fun. But I'm documenting it on Instagram, and it's the handle and Vortex Viber Arts Initiative. So if you're interested in following along on the making of the banner, that's about to start kind of publishing those posts. So the banner is coming along like very nicely. It's very exciting.
All right, next we have.
Hi everyone, I'm Vince. I'm the deputy organizer for Mary Capola's campaign for UN Senate. Our field office is actually in Spenard. It's 3400 Spenard, right next to the nave. So that's where we post all of our canvases, where we knock doors for Mary and phone bank, where we're making calls to voters. Filmings happen on Tuesdays at 5:30, and we knock doors on Saturdays at 12 p.m. and that happens every single week. So if you're interested in helping Mary win this year in November, please talk to me. I have pins and stickers and shift sheets, and there's road signs available too. But if there's not enough, you're always welcome to stop by the field office at Mary Gorman's Care.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice?
Announcements,
Yes, no.
quick one.
Okay.
I'm Elise Calvin. I serve as your representative and I have, I'm also currently serving on the special session House Finance Gas Line. And so, on Friday, I'm inviting folks to come in and ask any specific questions related to that if they have any. And that, is kind of it's what is, I guess the focal point is just the gas line legislation, so that would, I'm inviting folks to bring in any questions they have about any legislation, or if they want to know how it went last session and what bills passed, didn't pass. We're still waiting on governor signatures, but I'm happy to kind of give you guys an update. So I'm gonna put this form on the table, but please feel free to get details there or for comment.
Would I respect this you on the first to come?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be at Yak and Yeti
Okay.
for a political yak fest
Nice.
from 4 to 5:30.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Was anybody able to arrange a random solution? No, that's. We'll get on. And we'll do that right after we hear from Lieutenant Bradley, the Anchorage Police Department, our regular lead off speaker. I got a list. Good morning, good afternoon. Sorry, I've been up for 16 hours. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see everybody, and I should probably start arresting everybody for making these the inside. I mean, I'd like to circle of chairs outside, but it's beautiful. So the weather is great. Anchorage Police is still out there doing what we need to do to keep everybody safe. I do have a list of things that was provided, some questions that I wanted to address. Chugiak Way progress. I'm assuming this is 1306 Chugiak Way. So that obviously, as you've seen, that's on the ground. That was done by the owner. There has been a little bit of a lack of progress to move that rubbish off the property, which has caused a little bit of concern for all of you and for us as well. There was a little bit of a grace period that we kind of gave them because there was rate restrictions on the roadway, so it was very expensive to move that stuff. And in some cases, they couldn't get the product out there. That has gone away now. It has been. We've given them some ability to do some different ways to get that stuff off that property. Just today, we communicated with the owner that they need to expedite and provide us with a plan of action on what they're going to do and how they're going to do it to ensure that we keep them moving in the right direction to clear that property. Code enforcement is very clear on what those guidelines needed to be, and they need to bring that up to standard as quickly as possible. So you should see progress in that very quickly. We have increased our patrols in that particular area. There's a lot of movement in that area. That property was used by folks that are using drugs and other some folks that were homeless were in that area. We understand that, and so we're making sure that we keep up the enforcement actions and that pressure in that area to ensure people are complying with the law. I'm in contact with a lot of business owners in that community. I talk to member Parks often with the stuff that's going on in there. So we are quite aware of everything that's going on there. We're putting some pressure on some folks to make sure that we do that down the road and make sure that property goes, that all that rubbish gets taken away. What do we have next? So the homeless camp at the mobile home park being demolished on 36th Street. I believe that's 36 in Argent. Argent is what you're talking about. So we've had contact with that location 2 times. It's been cleaned at least once that we know of. There could be some more trash that has accumulated. We had contact with one individual that when we were there, we didn't have any permanent campers in the area. One of the challenges we face right now as a municipality team is
we're getting a lot of complaints coming into the city regarding trash and camps. And a lot of the or the camp complaints are turning out to be just trash. So there's leftover trash that's strewn about the city in various locations, and people are reporting them as camps. And so my teams are going out to check them and then finding out it's just a big pile of trash. The good news is that we've kind of upped our game a little bit with our Healthy Spaces team. The bad news is by providing them more PCN, so basically spaces to hire people against. The challenge we've had right now, we haven't filled those yet, so it's still an ongoing process. But the good news is that we are doing that work, and there are people out there that are pulling the trash, and you can see it around the community. I mean, just in the last 3 weeks, just driving around, I've seen significant improvement on some of these areas. And so they're going to continue to work. And I think we're going to get caught up, right? Like we really got hit hard when the snow came on. It was like, wow, there's trash everywhere. And we started to really get after it in some camps. And so now we're just kind of getting caught up a little bit. I think we're going to be in a place where it's going to be a little bit manageable for those teams to get the trash put away. So that's a good thing. And the city, I think, in my opinion, is starting to really look good. And I hope that did you all do your Spenard cleanup? Right. Excellent. We are really kind of, Thea and I have had a conversation, and if there's a way, or if you all wanted to do another cleanup day, right? The city is absolutely going to support that. And how we support local cleanups, we work with a lot of different communities. So neighborhoods that say, hey, if you want to clean up our neighborhood, there's 60 of us, or 16 of us, or 10 of us, or whatever it is. Done it in Muldoon, we've done it down at Taku Lake. We're going to clean up all this area, and we're going to gather all the trash. We're going to leave it in a spot by the road. Healthy Spaces will come and pick it up for you. So if you guys want to do something like that, just let us know. We're all for it. It's kind of giving back a little bit to the community, and allows you guys to just do the cleanup, and then we'll haul the trash home. Let's see what else we have. Oh, let's talk about maximizing the effectiveness of community inputs. This is great. I get a lot of community input. You probably imagine. And I think it's wonderful. The best way to provide me and Thea and other members of the mayor's team feedback and input is really through the community comment. I think that's the best place to kind of generate that thread of information to come up. It's definitely it's collaborated, it's coordinated, and it's directly it hits the people that need it the most. So if it comes to me and it's a mayor, assistant mayor issue, I can send it to Thea. If it goes to her, if it's a police issue, she can send it to me. You always have the ability to report anything online through our camping app, or you can also send an email directly to the mayor's office, and it'll go to the proper person. It just kind of gets filtered to whoever needs to work that issue. But we do appreciate the inputs. My thought process and my ask is that understand that there's a lot of community members that are putting things in. And every time I get an email from a political leader, constituent, anyone, I always take the time to reach back to that person, try to solve that problem in some capacity. I may not do it right away or every day or that day, but in a couple of days, I try to get back to those folks, and we try to find sort of resolution. It's kind of we believe that's our place. Now it can get bogged down, right? So if everybody sends an email to me, I have 500 people sending me an email in a week. That's going to drastically inhibit my ability to do work. So coordinate that response, get it to your community council presidents, and send it up to us, and we'll go ahead and we'll act on it. Last thing I think is on the list. Let's talk about littering and dumping. All right. So littering is a civil citation in the city. It's a $25 fine. And littering is a little bit challenging because a police officer has to see the littering to happen in their precedent. So if you throw a cigarette butt down and I see it, I can give you a fine for $25. So it generally doesn't happen very often because that's just not something that we're always looking for, and quite frankly, the officers don't have a lot of time to enforce things at that level. Sometimes it works. I mean, I actually made a citation once in my 19-year career, but dumping is a little different. If you get somebody that's physically like taking things and dumping them out, the fine goes a little bit higher. I'm not sure what that fine is, but it's a higher dollar amount. But it is a civil fine. It's not a criminal offense. So I've had other folks ask me, like, they make that, be $10,000. We make it be $50,000. I mean, you can ask your legislators and your assembly members to do anything. I just don't think if that's a reasonable response to some of these things. But I do think that littering is a problem. When we see these, there's a lot of people going out littering in our parks, littering in our green spaces, and we want to make sure that we're addressing that, and we're doing that a little different way. Camping enforcement, some Title VIII enforcement, things of that nature. So we'll continue to clean up, and continue to partner with us on ways that we can help you clean up, and keep Spenard looking great. I love Spenard. So, any questions for me? All right, this is the last one for the summer, but we might do some executive meetings and greets about some public safety things. So I think.
So what, I got a question here before we
Just
go on to that.
one. On the bike trails and where people are camping, chase them away the first night, they wait a night, they come back. Is there a way that you can schedule like on rounds at night that I'm speaking about a bike trail on 32nd and already 3.5 million, we were promised that nobody was going to camp there, pick up all the trash, but it's in between Arctic and North Star, so there's no traffic. They're camping in the middle, so somebody's got to get out of their car and look to see the tents and the trash.
Sure. Are you saying this?
Can you have, when you assign the police on their schedule, can they go by every night, just open the door and say, out of here, guys?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to tell you I can do that. But that's just not, I just can't guarantee you a resource. But what we can do is my team, I have a team of 6 officers that they can go down, they can go and make contact with those folks. And if they're camping by a trail and it's paved carbon surface, that's a violation of the camping ordinance and we can enforce that.
Okay, but you enforce it one night, then 2 nights later,
Man, we can arrest them.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So are you familiar with the tools on the BB's website?
I'm a computer illiterate, and it's very hard for me to get on time.
So all you need to do is give a call. So you can call, there's a phone number on there. It's report a camp. You can just report the location. And if you want to get in, I can actually take the location right now and I'll just take a look and see. No, but if you all over and custody probably.
Also, my phone number is, you have a
Yeah.
there you can do it. It's 907-727-4481. And if you describe it, I'll go on. I bought a Chromebook just to do this job. And I know how to turn it on. We'll go to one of the websites.
But soon, but
Yeah.
Friday times, well, that website, I don't,
It's
not supposed to.
It's changed many times as different administrations go through, and the one right now works pretty well. We are actually, and move on to the next thing. Is it a real question, Jason?
It's a question. It's pertaining to the sort of camping ordinance and how that operates here.
Okay.
Or
So I think we heard one. Yeah, he's with other people now. All right. So Margaret said she does have a name for somebody that could win, or even name with the introduce our 2 newest elected members of the assembly. He had something come up. I tried to get Dan Boland to come, but he never got back to me. So that person's not available. So Cameron Perez would be in. He got back to us and said he couldn't come. The next person asked couldn't do it. So does anybody here want to introduce Sydney Scout and Janice Park, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Police?
Well, this is pretty great. I mean, I feel like most of you probably already know these folks. I'm happy to. I'm gonna tell you, you have the absolute best assemblywoman here. In Spenard, we're so lucky. Between Sydney and Janice Parks, I mean, they are full in and ready to serve the people. That's what I know about them. They are grassroots, I think, our kind of people who listen to everybody and bring it home with regards to raising your voices there in the meetings every Tuesday night. These guys are all about it. We're so lucky and blessed that they have stood up and they're willing to serve us. So Janice Parks, she's got oodles and oodles of experience, as does Scott, Sydney, in different ways. And I guess when they speak to what's going on in the assembly, that they can do better at giving their own bio. But I just want to talk about their spirit and their heart, which is exactly what I think Spenard needs, and we're very lucky. So welcome to both Sydney and Janice Parks.
Yeah, sure.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Update.
First. Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Sydney Scout. I'm representing North Anchorage, so it includes Government Hill, South Addition, downtown, Mountain View, Fairview, a bit of Russian Jack, a bit of Spenard as well. So I've been coming to these meetings fairly regularly over the past year or so since I started campaigning. So recognize many of you and grateful for the conversations many of us have had. I'm born and raised here in Anchorage, over by like Sand Lake area, and have a background in public policy and campaigns, particularly clean energy work. And I'm excited to bring my connectedness to this community and my interest in policy work to the assembly. And it's been about a month, and the assembly work does not stop or really even slow down once you get sworn in. And so we've been super busy and have some exciting stuff coming up on this Tuesday's agenda, including I see that you have a resolution about the Public Safety Advisory Commission. We'll be looking at that, and I'll be introducing a few amendments as well. And then we're also going to be looking at at veterans preference for small business contracting. So that should be an interesting continued conversation. And then also have a housing policy introduced. I think maybe you'll talk a little bit too about some housing stuff later on. Or at least you did a great presentation at this South Division Community Council. If you're not presenting here, you should. But there will be a missing middle zoning reform policy introduced on Tuesday, and then there will be a whole summer of public input before that's voted on, which is planned for September. So I look forward to hearing your perspectives on that. And yeah, if you go on the municipal website, my email's there. I have my Muni phone number there as well, text or preferred whenever possible. But yeah, excited to represent a bit of you all and to see you in future meetings.
Congratulations. Hi, I'm Janice Park, and I haven't been to this community council for ages. I used to live in Spenard. I have lived on West 30th. I've lived in the Camlet Apartments down here on Minnesota, and or that way. And I think it's funny you have a palm tree on your logo because I lived in the building behind the Paradise for 2 years. And I am very familiar with the problems that Spenard has had over the years. So I have a degree in nursing. My background is grad school in public health. I went to the paralegal program at UAA and ran a small business downtown. I lost my husband to opiate addiction through a legal practitioner. And so recovery and recovery resources is very close to my heart. And With that being said, I introduced a resolution last week or last meeting to wear orange for this coming weekend. That's a campaign for Moms Demand, and the subsidiary of Moms Demand is the Wear Orange in remembrance of people who have died of gun violence and suicide. This weekend coming up is Wear Orange Weekend from the 5th to the 7th. And I have a very dear friend who had 3 family members who died of gun suicide. So I think it's really important to remember those families that have had that loss. And that is one of my interests. Also, I have been working with Lieutenant Hughes. I've been over to Getaway about 4 times this past week. And some of the property owners in that area have asked for help. I think some people don't realize when they see camping or when they see trash, they don't realize it's not always on municipal property, and the police department needs to get permission before they can go on private property and trespass people out of there. So I've worked with a constituent about that. And if you see garbage, there is a phone number to call. It is 907-343-GARB, GARB. And if you see potholes, 907-344-MENT. I'm looking forward to the same things on the agenda coming up next week, as Member Tal mentioned. And also we are working on changes to licensing for daycare that remove some sort of repetitive requirements from the city that are already required by the state. And so there are 4 regulations that are being removed from the requirements so that people don't have to jump through that extra hoop to go and get childcare certified. So, and we know that the community is very much in need of good childcare providers. So, glad to be here and glad to answer any questions. $26.
Less than the number of people in this room. That's impressive. And I'm so glad. All right, next on the agenda, we have continued business from last month, going to be led by Sarah Prescott, our immediate past president. This is a decision item, resolution 2026-03, the Minnesota plan.
All right, folks online, I deeply apologize that I cannot manually focus the camera and speak at the same time. So I know it's been a little seasick up there, but I'll do my best, but I'm going to talk over here. So yes, last meeting we had a presentation on the Minnesota plan, but we did not get a chance to get to our resolution. So we crafted this resolution using 4 resolutions that we passed in the last 5 years. So it wasn't Sarah likes this plan. It's Spenard has voted for the elements that are in this plan. So that includes our resolution from 2023 on the Minnesota Wall, which is the barrier that runs down Minnesota near Northern Lights and Benson. Our resolution in 2024 on pedestrian safety, 2025 on transit supportive development, our resolution in 2025 in support of Vision Zero, and our most recent one, support of winter maintenance. So all of that builds up to our general support in this resolution of the Minnesota plan with asterisks. We are asking that they adopt corridor-wide speed reductions. So speed reductions are not part of this plan, nor was a speed study. A speed study was outside the scope of the plan. So we are asking them to include that, incorporate that, consider that, make that part of the Minnesota plan, and to also please remove the wall, the Minnesota Wall on Northern Lights, 5 and of the lights. So, with that very brief introduction, does anybody have any questions?
I just have a quick question.
Yes, Peggy, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
I'm Christine.
Christy. Okay, Peggy and Christy. Right, chair? Is that cool? Great.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Okay.
Through the chair. I guess what I'm wondering is, years ago when Jay Stage was chair, we were pursuing policy at 40th in Minnesota, and doing something in that area. Is that going to be encompassed in this plan, doing something like that?
So they don't have exact crossings in the plan. They have weave with like crossings in the plan, and that's where the speed reduction comes in. My understanding is currently the Department of Transportation does not do pedestrian crossings if the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. They only do it if it's 35 or lower. So if it's 45 miles an hour, which it is down Minnesota for most of it, that conflicts. Hence the do a speed study. Lower the speed limits, build it for slower speeds. So yes, and yes, but I think it's yes, but.
But is it, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is it something, because I know that the feds right now are pursuing higher, mile per hour areas. And is it something that we'd actually have to like kick up like through the state and then through the feds to try to get the numbers reduced as far as the speed limits? I mean, is that something that's kind of beyond the
Scope of this plan and my knowledge.
Speed limit reduction.
What's that?
Talking about speed limit reduction.
Yes, on a state
On
road
a
and it's
state
an
road.
EMS project.
Yeah.
Like the municipality could just
Yeah, it'd be the DOT.
it would be a process.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Well, I'm hoping that our state representatives here are thinking about taking that up to the next level. In other words, like to DOT and then to the feds.
Yeah, and we've spoken to, at least I have, very clearly, especially along the Minnesota lines where we've had the pedestrian deaths. So I mean, flat out on public record said, listen, we're looking at the highest pedestrian death rate in Alaska in this very small portion. What are you going to do? And what I got back was, we're going to change the timing of the lights, which is here or there. Maybe that'll help a little bit. And they also gave me a whole box full of reflective clothing. And I said, I did, that's not going to do it. And I explained that I know there are other methodologies, and I went over the Vision Zero, which is the lowering of speed limits. Also, something about fencing along the sides, not in the middle. And that one they sort of hung on to a little bit. And so, but when it comes to the speed limit, what they explained to me was that sometimes you can change the limit, but it's not going to change the way they drive. And I said, okay, I hear you. And can we tease that out a little bit? How about we practice on one road? Either, my thinking is either Northern Lights, Benson, or Minnesota. So we're still in a tug of war, and this will help us a lot. I'm not kidding. When I could go and say, listen, unanimous, or whatever it is, like, I'm not telling you how to vote. It's helpful if you all pass something, then we can raise your voice even higher. Carolyn, you may have more to add to that.
The only thing I'd add to that is that Representative Zach Fields was, he sponsored a bill to do with allowing the municipality to have traffic cameras be available to APD to use to enforce speed limits and other traffic violations. I don't know where the bill ended up. It did not make it to the finish line, I know that much, but efforts have been underway at the state level to address these issues and these concerns. I think it's going to take a multi-pronged effort and a collective effort, both locally and in conjunction with folks like Representative Galvin and myself to address the issue. Since it's definitely an issue.
The next question is Tracy.
Thank you. I just have a question regarding SCC 2025-04 transit supportive development, and I just want a quick refresh. Are we talking Tisdale here, or what is SC 2025-04 at this time? Can you know?
That was a resolution generally in support of exploring transit supportive development. It wasn't because the Tisdale went through iteration. This was at the very beginning of the process. It was supportive of, yes, look into transit supportive development. So
Okay. Thank you.
Phil, is our next question?
We're still talking about Hope 3, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so looking down here, and you want to remove that barricade that's between the streets in the high traffic area, which they put up to keep people from crossing down the road in the most dangerous spot. And then you want to slow the traffic down. And the way I read this is you would like to see more people hit just at a lower speed.
No.
That would increase survivability, but no, that's not. No.
There's also and replace it with safe, accessible pedestrian options.
Yeah.
Which is the fourth leg.
They tried to do that before and it didn't really work. That brought up the wall.
So we complained because people were dying and said we need the fourth crosswalk installed. So they said we will address the fact that people are dying, and they raised the height of the median, added lighting, and built a wall, and still have not completed our fourth crosswalk. So since then, there's been 2 deaths of pedestrians and multiple car accidents with injuries. So that wall has made things significantly worse there. So that is just the facts. So that's the problem with the walls. It's caused accidents. Yeah.
I'd really like to kind of see the numbers on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can hear they have that house.
There are additional questions. Yeah. Yes.
I would say, like, do we know why the ball is increasing the accidents? Because it does seem a little counterintuitive. I feel like a lot of people assume like a wall with discouraged pedestrians crossing is not a crosswalk. We don't know why.
The pedestrian crossing is missing at that section of the road, so you have to do 3 crossings to get to the other side of the street. So now, before, people were crossing where there was not a crosswalk, but you could see them. Now you can't see them because they're hidden and they pop out.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if I may, as a data nerd, we do not know cause and effect if that wall is literally causing them, but it has not led to a decrease in injuries or deaths. And we still can cross. And there are deaths in crosswalks.
Yeah. So do we want to bring this to a vote?
Sure.
All right.
That was my goal speaking
Yes. So thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the input. Sarah.
Like looking at the owl like I was supposed to.
Oh, thank you.
You still have a question, Lindsay?
Oh, hi. I was just going to give a comment, but I am very excited that we will have a vote. So my name is Lindsay Hyduke. I live here in Spenard, and I'm excited about the draft or the near final Minnesota and INL Street corridor plan. It has a lot of the things that we have been pushing for in our community for a long time to make it safer and more connected across Minnesota, especially because it is so dangerous. There are a number of new crosswalks for pedestrians. Like Sarah said, they're not like set in stone, but DOT would like to do that. They reallocate the right of way, is what they call it, so that they can redesign the roadway so that people can drive slower. And there's potential language they could add into this plan to really push promoting design treatments so that you have more safe speeds in the corridor. So lots of things that I was surprised to see the Department of Transportation put forward, and just appreciate Sarah and the community's efforts to continue elevating this. And like Elise has said, Spenard has voted for these things many, many times consistently. So having that voice elevated is really important. So if I can move that we accept this resolution, I would like to move it.
Thank you. You got a second? So now this is where our rules of order come into play. Are we ready to have a vote? Yes, all right, so remember to vote, you have to go to the meeting in the past year, we're voting for adopting this. We're gonna raise the hands, we'll count, and then we'll take a vote against, and we'll see how the numbers look. So, all those for, raise your hand. Adopting the resolution to say to have our input. 1, 2. I get 15. I got 15. So then all opposed? Seems to one, the resolution passes.
Oh, there's one, Michelle.
Oh. Was Michelle voting?
Shell support.
Let me check the chat. Michelle votes yes.
Oh, so
16 to 1.
recorded, thanks, Michelle. All right. So I will sign that and I'll communicate with Sarah as to who I'm supposed to send it to. So that next, we have an information item. The West 32nd Avenue team, Dave Gomez, Lounsbury, and Travis Holmes of DOT and BL. Are they here? Yes. Yeah. They're all sitting together right here. And they waved at me. The floor is yours.
What this is?
Yep, we're gonna give a little presentation and project update. So happy to see everybody enjoying the great indoors, sitting on such a nice. I kid. Thanks for having us here, to give you an update on the West 32nd Avenue, project.
Check it out, I'm doing genealogy, guys.
There it is.
There we go.
So quick introduction, Dave Gamez, consultant project manager with Lounsbury and Associates. We also have Travis Holmes, who's the project manager of DOT. Tanya Hong, project manager with municipality. And I saw Emily Weiser online, who's representing AMATS. So this segment of 32nd Avenue is the segment west of Minnesota Drive. So between Minnesota and Lois Drive, if you're familiar, this is next to the Aquarian Charter School and the Anchorage Sands Apartments. They're on to this.
Time to share it. And
Multitasking.
see how this works. This will be a thing. Bear with me, folks.
I guess I could mention this is a federally funded project through the AMATS TIP. It's being managed by the DOT, and the municipality is representing the project as well, as it's a local municipal road.
If anyone knows how to share a PowerPoint slide and Zoom and also make it work, I can take suggestions.
Just bring a 5 block.
Yeah. So I got a big part of the job.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. On to slide 2. There we go. So project description here. The project description is to improve safety and reduce future maintenance costs by upgrading the roadway, non-motorized drainage and lighting facilities on this particular road. This project was previously part of the municipal bond project that was with the Lois Drive project. but was separated out and federally funded. And the big reason for that was that the city project did not underground those overhead electric utilities on the north side of the road. This project can, and with that, we can re-envision a typical section of the roadway to include non-motorized upgrades, lighting facilities, or upgrade the road to more current standards. Our current schedule, we're in preliminary design through August of this year. We plan to reach our local review, which is about 35% design next month, at the end of next month, finalize our environmental document by the end of August, reach our 75% in December of this year, and our 95% design in August of 2027. And we anticipate currently construction in summer of 2020. Next slide. There we go. Our public involvement to date. So we met with various stakeholders out on this particular roadway, the Aquarian Charter School, various agency and public stakeholder meetings that we've held. We had our first open house on February 24th. We met with the AMATS TAC, the Technical Advisory Committee, and the Policy Committee in March and April. And then we met with the Spenard Forward Plan Task Force last month. I think I saw Lindsay online. Thanks, Lindsay, for setting that up. And we are at the end of our preliminary public involvement here, meeting with the Spenard Community Council. So, existing conditions out there. This is a strip paved road. It's about 20 feet wide. The pavement is in pretty poor conditions. There's potholes throughout. In the springtime, there's limited drainage out there. So in the springtime, when the snow melts, there's ponding throughout. So that really impacts the condition of the existing roadway out there. There are limited non-motorized facilities. There's a pathway on the north side that ends at Aquarian Charter School, but it doesn't connect to anything other than the pathway at Lois. And then there's limited congestion out there, but it's limited to queuing during pickup and drop off during the school hours for Aquarian Charter School. Otherwise, it's pretty free flowing throughout the day. So as we were evaluating this particular road, we broke it up into 3 sections that we're looking at for alternatives. Here we're looking at the intersection to connect into the Lowe's Drive project. That's about 95% design. We also are looking at the west segment of the road. So this is directly in front of Aquarian Charter School. There's about 60 feet of right of way available here. And then the east segment, which is in front of the Anchorage Sands apartment, which there's only 30 feet of right of way available for the Sands apartment. And then the project on the east end would be connecting into the Minnesota Drive Sidewalk Affairs project. Next slide. So here's one of essentially 2 street width typical sections that we're evaluating on this road. So we're looking, and this is for the west segment. So you can see a little key map at the bottom left that shows this would be in front of Aquarian Charter School. A 31-foot wide section that would provide vehicle travel in both directions and would not preclude on-street parking. So, for example, folks who are picking up and dropping off at Aquarian could line up parallel on that north side of the road during pickup and drop off hours. But also it would include an 8-foot pathway on the north side with 5 foot of buffer space. So for snow storage and just buffer from the roadway. And on the south side, 2 feet of buffer space and then a 5-foot sidewalk along the south side. But you'll see in all of these alternatives, in order to fit these alternatives, the overhead electric utilities have to be removed. We cannot fit all of these improvements without overhead utilities. On to the next slide. Here's another look at a 31-foot section. It could potentially also include a shared use roadway there. So bike share striping, you may have seen some neighborhood greens throughout the shares with bicycle users able to use the road as well. On to the next slide. And then we're also looking at a 36.5-foot alternative. So this would be a little bit wider than a 31-foot alternative. And this alternative would accommodate a dedicated on-street parking lane, essentially. But at this on-street parking lane, so parking
But that comes at the sacrifice of buffer space for snow storage, and then you get narrower widths. You don't get a pathway on the north side; you get a 5-foot sidewalk, and the south side you still get a sidewalk. So as you can see, in winter maintenance conditions, you see that the sidewalks would be used for temporary snow storage on both sides versus the 31-foot section where you have that buffer space on the north side where that temporary snow storage space. So this is looking at the east segment. So this is in front of the Sands apartment where there's only 30 feet of right of way available. So this would include 2-directional travel for vehicles, a 24-foot street width here, and a 5-foot sidewalk along the south side. There is not enough width here to include buffer or pathway space without acquiring. So we're working with the space that we have. It could either feature sidewalk on the south or the north side. However, the south side, the benefit to that is on the north side, you would have more conflicts with vehicles pulling into the neighborhood Sands apartments as they have full parking spaces right in front of their doors. So on the south side, there are no driveways in this segment. Or there might be one driveway, but it's not continuous parking there. So here's a roll plot that we took with us to the transportation fair. We shared with the Spenard Corridor Plan Task Force of alternatives that fit within the right of way. Intersection. We're looking at the intersection here. Potentially installing a mini roundabout or a 4-way stop. However, the caveat with the 4-way stop is that the road, the west segment, the west portion of the intersection there is not aligned with the east portion. So you would not have a 4-way stop that's aligned. It would be skewed, or what would be considered an offset. So that comes with some drawbacks there for sight distance. Or a mini roundabout also fits in this area. So there are some traffic circles that are similar to this style in the Mountain View. The west segment here we're showing the alternative that shows that pathway, that 8-foot pathway on the north side with the buffer space, and then the parents could use that north side to pick up and drop off. There's no space for that along that north side to parallel the road. And then this would feature a sidewalk along the entire south side, essentially all the way from west to facility. And there would be a crossing at the Korean Charter School. Right now, we have it located on that east, just west of that east driveway for folks to cross to the sidewalk across the street. We're also considering traffic calming features like raised crosswalks and such to slow vehicles down as they're running through. So yeah, this is just a roll plot of some of the alternatives that we're looking at here. Next slide. So feedback to date from our stakeholder and public engagement. We've at our open house and from the various meetings that we've had, there's general support for improvement out here, out on this road. The conditions are pretty poor out there. People want to see a roadway and drainage improvement. They want to see lighting out there. And then they also would like to see accommodations for motorized and non-motorized users. We did hear some desire for slower speeds out there. It is a little below 25 miles an hour. With wider facilities that can encourage higher speeds. So we did hear some support for the 31-foot width alternative there. The school is supportive of improvements, but their main concerns are impacts to parking and circulation. They're currently using a gravel space that's directly in front of the school as kind of a pickup and drop off area where they use it for essentially perpendicular parking. But they also have a project that's will install a fence on their property line, so allow people to kind of just pull that gravel area more, pull into their property. So that's being coordinated with our project. But they are concerned about that space being reallocated for non-motorized travel that parking surface. Winter maintenance and snow storage space is a high priority out here. This road tends to narrow pretty significantly, especially during heavy snow events. Most of one lane usage in some spots out there. So snow storage space, buffer space, we did also for that as well. We also heard some desire for a one-way alternative, especially along that east end in front of the Sands apartments. But we worked through, the project team worked with the fire department and street maintenance as there were it's infeasible due to some fire and street maintenance concerns to convert that. That Sands apartment is designated a high risk facility. So the fire department does need two-way access and certain width of roadway for that. So we will be documenting that in our draft ESR straight to our project. And here's our contact info. If you'd like to reach out, please reach out if you have any questions. Now's the time.
Oh boy, they got some questions. I saw your hand first. What's your name and what's yours? Laura? Laura?
So I live right around the corner and everything on there looks great. I haven't seen any of these plans since probably that first meeting. So it's really come a long way and it looks great. So kudos. The four-way stop at the roundabout, is there really enough room there for a roundabout? Because
It
there
would
would
be
be a stop now.
Yeah, it would be a mini roundabout. There is quite
It's
a
gotta
bit.
be
It's going to be a pretty small roundabout. We've laid it out for the geometric design criteria for
And
roundabouts.
I'm assuming that the only reason you would put a roundabout there is to slow traffic.
Yes, traffic calming is one of the many design features, and it eliminates left turning conflicts. So you're yielding to the left and you're moving right to make the left turn. They typically tend to slow vehicles down, especially with the design of curvature. So there are several design features to roundabouts that really help improve safety.
I mean, I get that for roundabouts, that makes perfect sense. It's just such a tiny little spot. I can't imagine that would be more effective than the four-way stop, which seems a lot cheaper to put in. And the problem on that street is down 30 seconds. Really, it's you've got a lot of trouble. You've got a lot of blind traffic coming up and down the hill the next way. So I'm not sure how that factors in, but do you factor that in? That little hill spot, is that factored into this plan?
Essentially, when we work through the design of the roundabout, we're looking at sight factors, speed factors, pedestrian factors, non-motorized users. So this is a preliminary layout at the moment. We can get a mini roundabout to fit in that right.
So my last comment is just that I'm assuming you know how many people walk in this area.
There's quite a bit, but it's not the main. I'd say Lois Drive has a much larger driver of non-motorized usage, but we have observed, both folks walking out to Minnesota Drive along the south side of 32nd.
Well, it's also kids going to the park from all directions and stuff. So I would just say it is a heavily foot trafficked area, in my opinion. So is Lois Drive, but I would just state a preference for the narrower roadway that has the wider buffer zone and the sidewalks, because I just think it's a place where we're already used to the narrow roadway there, and I don't really see why we need it wider to accommodate what's already constrained. But I think the foot traffic is very important to accommodate. That's what I think.
Good comment. You have another hand over here. Ma'am, what's your name and what's your question?
My name's Jackie Ransom. I have grandkids that go to Aquarium, and how much of the woods there are you planning to take out for this roundabout?
None.
None of them?
The roundabout currently, as we have it laid out, stays within the right of way, and the woods are outside of the municipal right.
Well. Okay, so, but then you're taking out one row of parking out of what Aquarium uses for parking?
No, we wouldn't
It's
be
the
taking
gravel
any.
part that they do use.
Yes, so the gravel area right now, that's the municipal right of way that's being used by Aquarian in the morning and afternoon during pickup and drop off would be reallocated for a pathway, buffer space instead of storage. However, that north side of the road, Aquarian parents could use for pickup and drop off. There's enough space to park there and also access to direction traffic.
Well, the pickup and drop off, the whole parking lot, the gravel space, which is the right of way, is all utilized. It's always full. They do a great job at pick up and drop off. They clear that out less than a half an hour. That principal and her staff, it's amazing about how fast they move those kids out of there in the traffic. But every time I go into that traffic, they utilize the woods. And you say that right of way, you have right of way in the woods?
Yeah, the right of way, so you're referring to the trees that are behind the fence, correct? The
Yes,
school's fence.
right.
So anything that's south of that fence is the municipal right of way. It's not, there's a pathway there.
So you should move that fence at all.
No, the fence would stay where it's at.
So
What's
what-
the term?
Well, I didn't think querying is just that gravel parking lot fence.
Correct, yes. The gravel parking area will be repurposed for pathway and buffer space for snow storage and lighting.
Yeah, the other point I wanted to make was, I've come to a lot of these little public sessions or feedback sessions. And it seems like the plan's already been made. And the comments are, I've done the airport ones, I did the bike trail that I'm complaining about now, where they gave me all the promises about this and that, whatever. And they put 3.5 million on a block long bike trail, which we call the corridor of crime now, because nobody can go down there because of all the people that are very scary in there that are trashing it and stuff. You say you're at these preliminary stages. How many changes have you made or have you inputted
So
that people have gave you feedback? 'Cause
sure, I can address that. So we met with the Aquarian Charter School. We met with the Anchorage Sands Department, and we sent individual letters to every single member in this segment to have meetings, and we solicited feedback from the top out there. We also held an open house on February 24th as well. So we invited everybody on our meetings. And then we met this Spenard Border Plan Task Force.
So it's federal money
Yes.
for this small thing, and we're taking advantage of this federal money for put the power lines in the ground. Basically, is the main goal for this project.
Well, the main goal is to make an improvement out there that accommodates vehicles, pedestrians, upgrades the road to design standards, street ease of street maintenance, drainage facilities, lighting facilities, improvements to the intersection. So in order to accommodate all that, the overhead utilities have to be undergrounded. This project could not have a municipal bond project because that project utilities.
Why did they cut it out from the main project?
Because the federal funds were made available to public underground.
So we do have to move on to other questions. Next question we have, so Lisa.
I really appreciate this project. I have had phone calls to our office about this area. My question is that part of the research that we've done showed that the problem area in terms of accidents and incidents tend to be right where 32nd meets Minnesota. So I'm wondering if you have an intention to somehow bridge that problem, that gap in that, or if that's in the future.
That's a really good question. And so the Minnesota sidewalk repairs project, which I'm also coincidentally working on, is going to make improvements at that intersection, specifically at 32nd. there's a wall along the north side that limits folks' sight distance as they're turning right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a wall, folks tend to park up against that wall. That project is looking at moving that wall back within the right of way to allow for improved sight distance at that intersection. It's also going to make improvements to the pathway and buffer space through that area as well.
And what, is it the same timing or is it?
So yeah, that project is about 2028. So we're looking probably around the same construction year.
That's where my wife and I cross the street to our project. Phil had the next question.
So I think a roundabout there is a terrible idea. First place, it's going to hinder snow removal. It's going to hinder emergency equipment, which you also have to consider is when they slow down the traffic on Minnesota. The fastest way into Spenard will be through Wisconsin and Lois. So you're going to have extra traffic on there. It already loads up really bad when the school's getting out and they're coming to school. And if you put ice on a roundabout there with all the new all-wheel drive cars, you're just going to have, it'll be a fiasco every time you have a fresh snow. It's a really, really bad idea. The radius is not big enough to handle the traffic going through. You could just as easily enlarge the road a little bit and allow that four-way stop that's been there for years to continue on. And it'd be much safer, much better than a roundabout.
I'll address that. So the skew of the existing road it's currently skewed. So the east side is offset from the west. In order to add buffer space and sidewalk along itself, it's going to increase that skew. So you would have two back-to-back T.
If you're looking for a solution, eventually you're going to have to make Lotus or Lois a one-way street, probably going from south to north. Because you don't have the right of way going down Lois to expand it out any at all.
All right, before this gets off the rails, we have a decision item next, so thank you all for coming. There will probably not be time after the meeting, we're running out of time, but there's lots of opinions here, and there's lots of different opinions here, and we really appreciate you educating us here so that we can be informed when we do Brian. I wrote down the phone number, I will call later.
We have project packages too that will leave and that one.
All right. So the next item, thank you very much. The next item is going to be presented by Jason Lazard. It is the decision item resolution 2026-04, a resolution in support of AO 2026-62. Enjoy it, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I brought this resolution today. Public safety is a common topic at these community council meetings. Folks often doesn't get an opportunity to address some of the questions that come to them. You all care about it. There's currently right now administrative order 2026-02 passing through our assembly to establish a public safety advisory commission. Have one passed, it's allowed to sunset because it wasn't functioning all that well. But I wouldn't let that get in the way of reestablishing something that's promised here. This came forth, Presbyterian, Fields Rivera, and brought this forward based on recommendations of the Public Safety Task Force that met for several months since the meetings. By and large, they took the recommendations from that task force and put them into this AO. It's not, doesn't have the advisory commission. Well, first of all, task force was hoping that it wasn't an advisory commission, but it was going to be a public safety commission with a different ones. I think going through the process, there's been some compromises. There always is in politics. Reasonable compromise is not having this commission have the ability to be investigating public safety issues at this time. I personally testified that I would like to see that. I would at the last assembly meeting, there were several other folks that shared similar feelings. I think we'll see some amendments coming through. I know that the sponsors have a substitute bill that's going to be coming through that's going to change some of the language, nothing too substantial based on what's already there, but they are going to require that the commission is in its quorum in 6 months, which I think is really important. Don't want to drag on this any longer than we already have as a community. What I've written here, the first 2 paragraphs come straight out of the AO at the assembly level, and really just supporting this measure as is. I think we heard from Member Scout that there's, she has some potential amendments. So this really supports this current version of the AO. And I think it would be really great to have this community council get on record saying that we support this. It helps potentially put up some areas of really backsliding if some assembly members want to sort of take away some of the powers that have been given to this commission. And being that we're not meeting it for the next couple of months and the assembly still does their work throughout the summer, I felt it was important to get this on record now before we meet again in September. The commission itself is 13 voting members, chosen by the mayor and by the assembly. There's 5 non-executive members that represent public safety departments, APDA, so on and so forth. I didn't come with a prepared speech for this one, but that's my introduction. Happy to take any questions.
So just to climb onto that, the Anna Brawley, Lieutenant Fuchs, Chief Gates, Cameron Perez Rodilla, and Cal Bolin have all offered to take our 2 months off that we're going to July and August and do a roundtable discussion during what would be our normal Spenard Community Council meeting here in this space. So the first Wednesday of July and August, we're going to do this. So an invitation will go out on the Spenard website, and everybody will get an email about it. But it's basically they want to soft launch this here with us because we're such lovely people. I mean, honestly, because we know we talk about specific things, we tend to be slightly more orderly and pat ourselves on the back for it. So yeah, I think that is something that I was going to bring up at the end of the meeting that we're going to be doing anyway. You're all invited to that. Anyone have any questions for Jason?
Shane, yes, there'd be some discussion in this there. So I showed up to questions, and so originally the people who were selected for there were such a trade that they originally needed to, and so people that work can't attend these things, and so then that led to the meeting here at the open one, and there was some feedback. Some of the feedback was regarding other things as well, interactions with police. That's the highest amount of interactions, mostly with people outside. And there was a question I intended to obviously couldn't ask that question. But where I'm going with this is that part of the genesis of this to begin with was basically the reaction to the officer called shootings, and that there was supposed to be an oversight authority because people felt that some of the things were not right. It's sort of a thing for independent oversight investigations. That was stripped. The examination policies that impact public safety that was disguised and sort of resent, the recommendation of the people in the meeting that voted on it. It's not actually in the final report. And so that was stripped. And then potentially some compensation for the people that are not actually paid to sort of be within the city. That was also stripped as well. So my concern is I see a number of people who are calling the state of homelessness because they can't afford to pay rent. If these are criminals now, they cannot pitch a tent outside. So for their trickling, we'll see around this time. That's leading to the trash, which is around, and there's no cans. But they take the stuff they have, they do where they are. And so it's becoming a decentralized problem. They need places to go to need support. Part of it, some of it should be examining the policies. In fact, poor rate question.
Do you have a question?
So the question is, I don't know what the amendments are. Maybe we'll find out, but I would be somewhat reserved, supportive without knowing if the policies are to address or to be an independent oversight authority. Jason, come in.
Yeah, to that I would say this resolution supports the current AO.
Yeah.
And so there could be amendments, but we're not saying that we support anything in the future. We're saying, as it is right now, we'd like to see this happen. And in my perspective, I know that, there are some folks that have some frustrations, that it doesn't quite have the teeth, as I mentioned earlier. But, I'm not a fan of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think we have to start from somewhere. And I think it's important to get this established and seated and informed. And then ideally, it's structured in a way that it is meant to engage the public in ways that 10 minutes with a lieutenant at a monthly community council meeting is going to allow for. And so I view this as something that should be a work in progress in going through continual assessments and revisions. And I hope that the assembly would agree with that. But I think we have to start somewhere.
I think it's been watered down. That's
Okay.
what it's.
And we're gonna move on to the next question. Where is it?
My question is just so the AO 2026-02. That's what's currently out there. That's not a new regulation.
So that's what was introduced last month. They had the first public hearing and the most recent assembly meeting. So this is new, and it would reestablish something similar to what we had in years past.
Okay. So I guess I'm I hate to feel like I'm throwing a stick in it, but I'm reluctant to pass a resolution to support something that I don't see in front of me to have a chance to look at it. And so, and I forgot my phone, so I can't pull it up right now and look at it.
I just so haven't had ballot for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
There's a lot in there. I got to the meat of it in the resolution, but there are specifics in there.
Okay, cool.
So, do we have any other discussion or questions before?
Quick,
There
sorry.
you go.
Like maybe point of order. But on my assembly agenda, it says this is 2026-62. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that you have the number right in the resolution. Yeah.
So, is that anything to be amended?
Yes.
Motion to amend? Second?
Sure, second.
Second? Any, all those approving the amendment of making it reflect reality? Aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Chrissy, have you had a chance to speed read?
I'm trying.
What time?
Give me 2 seconds.
I think that's good for it.
Phil, you have a question?
No, just saying I suppose.
Oh, to making the number correct.
Somebody asked me.
Yes. All right, while we're reading, do we want to take a quick detour? And is Lisa Simmons here with Rose Club? Would you like, while Chrissy reads, would you like to knock out agenda item number 12?
Yeah.
Really quick?
Yeah, this can be really quick too. So yeah, my name is Lisa Simmons. I live just down the road there by Georgia Italia. Really close to the Boys and Girls Club, where my son likes to play. I joined the Boys and Girls Club last year, shortly after we found out that they were financially struggling and they would have to temporarily close down all of their operations, not just in South Central, but also in the villages, Fairbanks. And I'm really excited to announce that we have reopened Woodland Park. So Boys and Girls Club of South Central Alaska is now up and running slowly and small, but really excited for our community here. And I personally, just being on the board, it was really great seeing Spenard rally around the Boys and Girls Club while they were having those struggles. So my personal goal is really just incorporating this community more. So if anybody is interested in volunteering or you have skills, that building is, it's not dilapidated, but if, there's fresh paint that's needed, there's a lot of things that at some point, it'd be great to have people come and help out and, do what they can. So anyway, I can leave my email, or if anybody wants to emailed the Spenard Community Council, but yeah, just really excited to share the news that they are up and we've got that Jen Spenard back and on.
Yeah. All right. How you doing, Chrissy?
I'm passed in a lot tomorrow, so
Okay.
I felt like I gave it.
I would like to
pass.
entertain. Does someone want to make a motion? So,
Thank you, make a motion to vote.
motion to vote from Shauna, second
Second,
from
Laura.
Laura.
Come on now.
All right. If you've been in a meeting the past year, you should vote. Then you. So you vote.
It's just a vote that we would go forward with finding out more information from the assembly.
No, this is just a vote to approve our resolution, which is to support the Assembly's resolution that we have a citizen advisory board for the police.
Public safety advice.
Public Safety Advisory Commission. So now we can vote, right? You can vote. So all those in favor of supporting this so that we can have an input. I got 16 and 17. 17.
So where's your time?
We got 17 including Ellen.
Okay.
Right. And all of those opposed? 17-1, the motion passes, and this will go to the assembly after our sermon. Is that correct?
So, and I'll attend the 9th meeting.
And if you want to send to anybody else, let me know also too. Okay. So that passed. We are on to information item. We have from the DOT, Kyle Esselman, Connie Hickok, consultant and project manager Joe Taylor, or just you as a little. Oh, they're online. Okay. And this is an information item about the fireweed rehabilitation. I was at their event yesterday. It's very exciting. Now, this is your opportunity to hear about it. I think personally, fireweed lane has a lot of potential. There's a ton of space there and not a lot of traffic. So we could really make that a gym in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Take it away. Or those people taking it away? Oh. Someone up there. Sarah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, President Duncan. Thank you. My name is Joe Taylor, everybody. I am with Lounsbury and Associates as my firm. I'm the consultant team project manager. On the call tonight, we have Rachel Steer, who's leading the public involvement for our team. And then the project manager is the Department of Transportation, and that's Connor Eshelman. He's here on the phone live tonight as well. And then we've met before, and I know I've talked about this project and kind of explained it a little bit. This is a little bit of a different project in that Fireweed is a facility that is jointly owned by the city and the state presently. And the state is running this particular project at present as the lead administrator, but the city at the completion of the project will be the ultimate owner. So they're really the owner of the facility. And so I want to thank Tanya, who's sitting there with you tonight. She's also managing the 32nd project. So she's live. And I also want to thank you for allowing us to meet tonight online. We had quite a long evening last night. We had our second public open house meeting. It was really well attended. It was a really awesome meeting. I do think that I chatted with many of you, President Duncan, quite a bit. Actually, I appreciated our conversation and your thoughtful questions. A long meeting, a long presentation, way more than we can cover this evening in our time. Oh, Rob, hi, I see that you're there as well. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention you. Rob's also helping run the job for the city. We have way too much to present this evening. Connor, maybe if you are able to pull the website up, if you are, that'd be awesome. If not, I can just talk about it a little bit. But I want to get everybody's status to where we were, what we talked about when we last met, where we are now, and then really sort of what our ask of your council is. And so last time we were before you, We were presenting on Fireweed Lane. This is a project that's been around forever. Connor's bringing our website up, and we'll really show a few things here in a minute. The purpose of our project is to rehabilitate Fireweed Lane, and you'll recall the theme that we've been talking about is rehabilitate the roadway for all users. And so we're talking about Fireweed from Spenard to the Seward Highway, and we're defining all users as sort of three major constituent groups in no particular order. But the traveling traffic, vehicular traffic, because it's a road, is one constituent user group. The business communities or the property owners that front the roadway. We have 85 different parcels on the roadway, something like 110 driveways. So that's a critical user group. And then we have a essentially unserved user group on the corridor right now, and that is anybody that's trying to travel not in a vehicle. So our non-motorized, our pedestrians, our bicyclists, our kiddos walk into 2 schools on the corridor, 3 right now, but maybe 2 in the future. So kind of that non-motorized group are the 3 users that we were talking about. And then I had talked about previously how we were considering 3 families of typical sections. We were looking at 4-lane roads, 3-lane roads, and 2-lane roads, and potentially combinations of 4, 3, and 2-lane typicals that might serve the roadway. And we had chatted a little bit about that. And then we were trying to use those typicals to serve those users and follow 2 critical laws. And as a federal project, those 2 critical laws are the National Environmental Policy Act, the NEPA Act, and that requires us to evaluate alternatives, is really what that means for us in the early stages. And then in the later stages, we have to follow the Uniform Relocation and Real Property Act, or the Uniform Act. And that has laws and rules about what we can do on private and public space. So that's kind of down the road. So we talked about all that. About a year ago, we had talked about the source documents for the typical sections being the city design criteria manual. Ultimately, as the owner of the facility, the project is being designed to the city design standards. So that was a source document. We were using the non-motorized plan, the adopted non-motorized plan, as a source document that talked about the roadway and made recommendations and statements about the facility. And then near and dear to your council, we were using the Spenard corridor plan, which made specific recommendations or considered specific alternatives for fireweed, particularly from Spenard to Arctic. So the team's been working on that quite a bit. About a year ago, we got close to kind of having a working recommendation out of that set of alternatives. But one major thing happened officially, and everybody kind of knew this was happening, but it finally did happen, in that Fireweed Lane was reclassified from a minor arterial to a collector type roadway. And so all of the work that was done was thinking about that. It was aware of that. But when that reclassification finally hit, it sort of caused the project team to pause, kind of recircle the wagons, if you will, and reassess and say, okay, we're evaluating things that meet this criteria or this classification, but have we been evaluating a comprehensive list of that? And so the last year we've done a lot of work with the city and the state. The whole team has really done a lot of work to really explore what that reclass means, and what does it come up with an exhaustive list of that. So that's sort of a long way of saying where we are right now in the project is we've made a determination. The project has made a determination that all 4-lane options are out. That's sort of been ruled out of the project. So we're officially declaring it a road diet or a lane reduction project. And we're down into sort of the final candidates, if you will, for 2, 3, for 2-lane and 3-lane typical sections, and really diving into not only a 2-lane all the way or a 3-lane all the way, but different combinations of those sections and where they might land. And so last night at our open house meeting, we presented sort of the 6 final candidates, if you will, in terms of typical sections. There's about 3 of them, 3 2-lane sections, and three-lane sections. And Connor's sharing these here on the website. They're all 60 feet in width. So the concept here is that everything fits in the existing right of way. Obviously, there's some impacts that have to be dealt with at intersections. Those are detailed designs to come. But everything fits about 60 feet, and we're down to 6 candidates. And then what the project has done is it has assigned these typicals in combination in different spots on these roll plots. So if you were there last night, we had literally 48 feet worth of roll plots, 12-foot long giant roll plots, burned up a plotter, used all the ink in town, and laid out huge roll plots. You can see them online. They're super detailed, and they really take a lot of time to kind of process. But each one of them talks about the typicals. You can sort of see where we got the gray arrows and these typical sections pointing to where they would apply. And the names of them, we're showing them in the summer and the winter, where the snow gets managed and temporarily stored. And then we have these really giant insets at places like Arctic and Blueberry or Eureka, where we're considering mid-block crossings, realignments of Blueberry to take some skew out of that, converting Arctic to a stop-controlled intersection, some details for how we'll connect at Spenard or the Seward Highway. And so very detailed. It really takes some time to be thoughtful and go through all these lines. And so what we wanted to do tonight was just alert anybody that didn't make it last night to go to our website. There's a really nice narration. Rachel, who's on the call tonight, narrated a really nice script that sort of walks through all of this, talks about where we are. You can go right. So Connor's showing it here. Fireweed Lane is our website. Under open house number 2, you can go and you can click on the alternatives. Then we have that narrated presentation, and then we have that presentation script in those boards. And then right here on the website, we have right where you can go click on send comments. Those come to city management, state management, myself. Rachel gets them, and then AMATS, who is sponsoring and funding the project. They're the ultimate funding entity. They get those comments as well. And so if you submit your comments, submit comments here, literally, we all get those emails, and we're tracking and recording them and managing them. And so from a schedule update, and then I'll stop talking and open it up to questions. We're getting a little bit long in the project here, and we're definitely feeling the need to move this thing to a selected alternative. We're kind of trying to seek that balance of being super responsive, but also keep moving. And so that's where we are right now. We're trying to get to a decision on a build alternative coming from these combinations by no later than the fall, maybe a little bit earlier, but we're really trying to get to 4 critical community councils that sort of touch the corridor. And so that's a little bit tricky with the summer breaks going on right now. So we're trying to kind of solve that, make sure we get contact with everybody. But the hope would be to get a selected alternative here by mid to late summer or early fall, and then move this to the Planning and Zoning Commission with a build alternative focused on basic number of lanes, 2 lanes or 3 lanes, and sort of where they go. We don't have to have all of the details right now, but we have to have the basic recommendation so that we can satisfy the NEPA document, that environmental document, and then move this thing into detailed design. So right now we're showing transportation fair here in 2026. We just had that. We're trying to get to a selected alternative here this fall. That gets us into detailed design. That's approximately 2 years, year and a half, and then we would have 2 years to go with right-of-way. So we're 4 years out if things go really fast, potentially a 2030 construction date. 2030, 2031 is kind of where we're headed right now. So with that, hopefully that's generated some questions. Everybody knows where to go to get the real detailed information, and happy to hear anything anybody has for us.
Okay. We have one from Sarah right here.
Thanks. Sorry, I missed in your explanation what a build alternative is. Are we turning in plan A and plan B? What do you?
Yeah. My fault. Good question. Build alternative, selected alternative, preferred alternative. Those terms get used a little bit interchangeably, but really what we're trying to get is identifying the basic configuration and the basic lane configuration, 2 lanes or 3 lanes, or combinations thereof, 232, 322, however we're going to land on that coming out of these alternatives and say, okay, this is generally what we're doing. We're building a 2 lane facility from, you know, Arctic from Spenard to Arctic, for example, and a 3 lane from Arctic to the Seward Highway, or we're building 3 lanes all the way, or 2 lanes all the way. That's what I'm talking about when I say sort of the build alternative, and then landing on the width. So 60 feet overall is kind of the width. So we're going to say it's a 232 and 60 feet wide, and that is our preferred alternative. Then those fine details about exactly where everything goes, exactly what every radius might be, exactly what every crossing might look like, how all the paint might look. Those are design details, and we're trying to get to that stage of the project. But we have to get through this alternative screening, NEPA document, and preliminary decision before we're actually allowed by the federal process to go into that deep dive set of details. So we're picking a preferred alternative, but we're not picking the final. This is exactly what it's going to be. Hopefully that answers the question, Sarah.
So yeah, so we've done a lot of work with the outside right away to address some of our meetings and release the stocks, and this is my experience. The same would be did with Smart Road and but maybe with a huge part for that one.
Yeah, I think that is definitely considered. So, like, there is no, incidentally, if this is not a large project, zero match. This is all independent. So any bond funds that we could kind of accumulate, we could look at other that are adjacent to the right of way that are included in the third.
I have one question. Are we still too early in the design plan for the art projects that are so popular in Spenard, like the Spenard can of spam, or that would go along with it?
Yeah, so
All right, we have to be out of here in 15 minutes. We have accomplished all of the items on the agenda. If you have finished, if you picked up an agenda, you'll notice there's some notes at the bottom. We're still looking for someone to be on our bylaws. We're looking for somebody to represent Spenard in the UK master plan. Thank you to Joe and to all of the speakers that came, all of our elected representatives that came to listen to us today. We will be having the guided roundtable discussion during our regular meeting times, but we are officially adjourned having a conversation. Oh, yes. We are working now. A $20 gift card to Open Designs. And a bag for your little better generator. It's spinning now.
Also, delicious cookies over there.
Lots of
So I'm out.